Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of the Forsaken Council. And welcome tonight. I don't think we have like as big an update as we normally have. I mean, we're used to getting hit with such a big update that we can barely fit it in. And it almost feels like a little bit of the opposite tonight. So maybe it gives us a little bit more time to breathe. I don't know. But anyway, thanks all for coming, and thanks to all of the presenters on the show tonight. How is everyone? How's your week in BP been?
Yeah, not bad actually. Pretty quiet, to be honest.
Yeah, good. Just same old, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think we all enjoyed VXP, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was great.
I certainly did.
Okay, well, shall we open up with the slides straight away then? I mean, should we just go straight into them, guys?
Yeah, cool. Right, we should be sharing now.
Okay, I shall lock on to Mark. So this is the slides for the June 28th show. Okay, bug fixes and tuning. Not a great deal here, guys, but an issue on Facebook that prevented sending mercenary fleets and resource gifts has been resolved. So I don't know if anyone's noticed that problem before. It's not something I would say I've noticed.
I don't remember the last time I sent them personally.
That's because you don't send them, Liam.
Yeah,
Sending gifts to Facebook didn't work.
Yeah, I may not be great at sending gifts, okay? Yeah, I'll try harder. Okay, fix an issue where a ship with remote targeting would not fire on targets if it was fully equipped with Switchblade missiles. Not noticed that myself either. Wasn't that something you were going on about, Monster, with your Hellstar or something? Or was that Tridents?
Tridents, mate. I don't know anything about Switchblades because I don't use them.
Liam, I think you're the only one here using Switchblade.
Yeah,
well, can I just say, right, that now the VXP, and I have no regrets. All right, don't get me wrong. I know that 8 blades and 2 phalanx 4 would save me about 10 minutes per hit, but they're working a lot better now that they're ranked. So I'm not grumbling about it anymore.
But you're admitting you're wrong.
I'm marginally, okay. But I would say it's Kicksai's fault, all right.
You're not stubborn, are you?
My only flaw is a man's belief in Kicksai. That's my flaw. That's my mistake.
You should know better. Come on, Liam.
My belief, yeah. Okay. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I believe. I haven't noticed that issue myself. I must admit, I don't have it on there, but they're saying it's specifically with the Switchblade that basically whatever ship you put the user retarget, it's not retarget off the full distance. So, and it would have to, wouldn't it? Because ultimately, it's the counter for that. Obviously, is the anti, isn't it? So, so if it doesn't counter off the full range, then what's it going to counter off? What's it going to retarget off? It's not possible.
See, I don't know. I don't know how they managed to mess those Switchblades up so bloody much. I mean, the Gat works fine, the new mortar works fine, but those Switchblades, man, they are useless.
Hey.
It's because they took a lot of advice from Liam when they were designing it.
Bugger off, man!
Then they had to keep
Liam,
adjusting it later,
what do you want,
right?
Liam?
Hey, no, listen, in all fairness, right, my Apollos, I've got 50 Switchblades, they're legendary ranked now, and I can hit a 91 for a free repair. So I agree that Phalanx floor and blade combination does run marginally better, but we're talking minutes, we're talking seconds in some scenarios.
I was going to say, I've only got 3 with no armor, and they're blades and phalanx 4, and I do a 91 for free repair too. Right,
see, so we're talking margin, both for free. Okay.
But I bet my build was a hell of a lot cheaper than yours.
Look, what's money? What's money, all right?
Yeah, you just got a new car, man.
Well, actually, I picked the new car up Thursday. That's
So by the way, now that I have my 3 Apollos fully skulled after the VXP weekend, I started hitting 91s, and I'm really happy about it, because before with the Rhinos, I was able to do them, right? But was just taking 14 minutes each, and now I can do each one of them in like 7 minutes, half as long, so I can go out and do 3, 4, and dock for like 40-minute repair, 50-minute repair, So now I'm actually almost there on the fragments for the gantry. Before it was just too boring to do them like 15 minutes each.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same. I only started hitting gantry parts after I ranked my Apollos, so Saturday onwards. Yeah, and I'm just about to start building the gantry. So I paid it no attention until I ranked my Apollos. So I was in the same boat as you, Ren, and I'm getting over 40 fragments per red bar on the sector threat. So.
Oh, that won't take long at all then, will it? And you can stack, can't you? So that's quite good.
Mm-hmm. So.
Should we move on?
Yeah, I was going to say anything else on the bug fixes, but
no, I think that's about it.
Fairly minimal, yeah. Ongoing in-game issues. Now I do know for the record, guys, that there was a few glitches and issues that came with today's update. But I can tell you now that Kixeye are currently working on these issues as we speak, and I imagine we'll be seeing a lot of hot fixes and stuff going out to any, if there is still any ongoing problems from today's post. But sorry, I haven't even read out your slide here. Post today's weekly update, there was a temporary period where retargeting on the Vendetta hull was inactive. This issue was resolved rapidly. However, some players may still have been caught out. So that I don't know if any of you guys noticed that problem. I didn't notice that problem.
I wasn't on at the time. You can imagine that in the base here, how bad that would have been.
Mm-hmm.
When you're going in to hit someone's base and you go, right, I'm just going to do this, and all like, hang on, it's not firing. Why is it not firing? And actually, you just cause damage to yourself, and you're like, that would be really frustrating.
Yeah.
You would look a complete noob, and everyone would laugh at you, particularly the person that's online that's defending, and you just look a complete Charlie, wouldn't you? So I would definitely ticket that one myself, personally.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, targeting issues in the level 91 targets continue to be problematic when attacking the mega hull turrets.
Yeah, has everybody spotted that one then? So basically when you go to 91, you do some of the islands, obviously, and then you go to actually hit the ship itself, and obviously the 4 turrets before you hit the coning tower. In the raid, it was... Yeah, it's a mess. In the raid, it was bang on, absolutely perfect, and you could go in and kite the, you could dodge in and dodge out of the the 2 red rings, and so you could cycle in and out, so you never targeted on you. You weren't in there long enough. But now you can't actually judge where you've got to go. Within reason, you can sort of work it out. But the rings are, you come in from the right-hand side, and the left-hand bottom ring lights up, and you come in from the top left, and the bottom-hand right ring sort of like comes up. It's all over the place.
No matter which, when I attack them, I tend to I'll click to target one of the turrets on the hull, but they'll just go right in like they're targeting the center of the ship.
Yeah.
But I still find the damage to be very low and almost pointless in caring about it.
They are better than they were, I must admit. But when I did the video from the raid and that sort of stuff, I did a bit of a stream quickly. I've got a system where you can, especially with the Apollos, where they dance around in circles, they turn so fast that you can just sit on the outside of that red ring, sort of like doing a 180-degree spin. So 180 degrees you're inside the red ring, 180 degrees you're outside of it, and it never triggers. Yeah. It just doesn't trigger at all. Mm-hmm. Nothing actually fires at you as long as you sit just in the right place, and that place is on the edge of that red ring. And about red rings, mate.
So PK on chat, he just said that he hit 291 today. And sorry, he said the circles and the scatterguns on the mega hulls seem to be displaying properly now.
Oh, that'd be interesting. I must admit, I haven't tried one this afternoon, so maybe that's one of the ones maybe they fixed it now. Maybe that's one they have fixed already, because you did say they were doing some live fixes. So
yeah,
he hits a lot of them, I have to say. So as annoying as he is as a Janner, he does hit a lot of 91s. So that's a Devon joke, by the way. Sorry.
Okay, and also I see they are still working on the R&D. Still working on R&D fix. Keep sending in those tickets.
Now I've completely finished my R&D. Yeah, I'm still got a gold disc. What's all that about?
Oh, you mean the R&D medal for when you get to level 30?
Yeah. Oh, yes, that thing.
So it's not indicating that you're worthwhile hitting because they can take some time off you. Does it actually say that on your base? Does it say minus X, Y, Z or something? I wonder.
Well, I've not been hit in like a while, but I just don't know why I've got that gold thing there, because I've completely done it.
The pumpkin.
Yeah, the pumpkin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know why that is. Did you also? You said that you when you finished it went away, and then a couple of days later it was on your base, kind of thing.
Yeah,
so.
It was.
Mm-hmm. Is that the issue that a lot of people are talking about, or is there's a lot of other issues with R&D?
No, they can't get them to start as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
No, that's the thing that confuses me, right? I mean, this R&D is a serious issue because it blocks players from progressing in the game. And I mean, open tickets is fine, but how about every day pretty much someone says, hey, I'm not qualified to open tickets. I mean, what are these guys doing? Just waiting around until eventually maybe, who knows, on a good day Kix fixes it for them?
That's a very fair point. Yeah,
I agree with that. They need to address it. I mean, when did we? It seems like R&D has been an issue for such a long time now. I mean, when did the issues first arise? Because it was absolutely fine when it first came out, and I don't remember anyone complaining about it until these last sort of 6 weeks. So there must have been an update that's triggered it.
I think
don't
it was
remember
the second set of updates, wasn't it? When they increased it to level 30.
No, I think it was after, like when they did the turret rebalance, or was either the turret rebalance upgrade, or was the
I think it came.
The gantry upgrade. It was one of these two.
Yes, it came when I think that for me, when they released the gantry and said, right, you got to be level 20 to do this. That's when it seemed to trigger.
It was already before that, mate, because I remember answering a couple of people saying, look, submit a ticket, you'll get it sorted within 24 hours to 48 at the most. I remember putting that on. That was about 2 weeks before Gantry started.
And people who can submit tickets are getting their R&D fixed for them pretty quick. My question is, like, everyone who cannot submit a ticket. Like, this one should be an exception, right? I mean, Kickstarter should probably put a link on their support page. Like, you can still report players if you're not eligible for support.
Yeah.
You should be able to open a ticket specific for my R&D won't start, and they should take care of that because it's not on the players. That's not on the players.
I agree with you, Ren. I completely agree with you. And I think it doesn't just apply to R&D. I think in some scenarios there is issues that players must experience. Players that aren't eligible to send tickets in, I feel for them.
Look at the top point there. Anybody it'd be hard to justify, I must admit, on this particular ship. But if you're then obviously going into a base attack and your vendettas aren't obviously retargeting, and then you make a complete arse of yourself and lose your fleet, so put your ticket in, get your fixed back money back in coin, that sort of stuff, and crack on. But if you can't put in a ticket, how can you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate, I understand why Kixeye. Well, I don't understand it, but I certainly can see why they did it. To close off the tickets to people, but there should maybe they should think about opening, even if they just opened a section of the forum where a couple of CS, people just went in there, people that don't have access to tickets could go in there and just post a comment and say, look, I'm having this issue, and maybe when a CS has a bit of free time, they can just go in there and dig through some of them,
Oh, there wouldn't be enough CS on Earth to take care of a forum thread about that.
Thinking that, Red.
No, it has to be a ticket system. I mean, like I said, even if they open like a few exceptions, such as the R&D one, on the support page, like the people can open a ticket about that, Because there's the other one, and there's a glitch, and you lose your fleet, and now you got to repair it. I mean, if you never spent any money on the game ever, Kix is pretty much saying, I won't give you coins for your problem. That's, And it's harsh and it's hard, but it's their business, whatever. Like people still choose to play even like that. But this one, it literally blocks you from progressing in the game. It's not like one thing that there was a glitch, I lost my fleet, I'll repair overnight, tomorrow I can play. No, you're blocked.
Yeah, I think Kix I do need because we spoke about this before, haven't we? And I think. We were meant to have had a fix since then, and it's something that
was released in one of the release notes about 3 weeks ago. It said that it's been now fixed and that sort of stuff, but it wasn't. The very next day it was still an issue.
Come on, Kix.
Yeah, Laredo just came up in chat and said the very simple reason why the CS requirements were made, the old CS system was abused by players ticketing everything to get free gold.
Right.
And I remember seeing that often, like on some pages, somebody, battles are crashing a lot this raid, and then everyone, okay, I'm going to open a ticket as well, even though my battle didn't crash, but I'm going to get some coins, and they were getting coins.
The honesty point, got you.
Yeah.
Okay, should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Sorry, I'm drinking a beer here, sorry.
Okay, the Forsaken mission update. Now, this is a surprise, actually. It's not often you see them do this after already giving us a content drop. The Zinfonite Armor D5 CT will be added to Tier 5 of the Forsaken mission in July. It will be located on the prize list before the fallback prize. So, guys, I mean, what do you think of this one?
Well, I don't like the fact it's called CT, but yeah, I get you. 15%, isn't it? Or sorry, 18% passive. That's not a bad percentage, I suppose. Heavy. But, yeah.
Well,
it'll be Reef at times, mate, as well. I haven't used the other three because of the times, and I doubt I'll use this one.
Well, I think, like we all just did discuss last week that we felt the lower end Zinfonite armors for a concussive defense weren't good enough to bring resistances up high enough. I think Gadget talked about it as well, and I think a few of us we were discussing it. So does this one now? Does it give it enough of a resistance buff? Will you be able to stack this, and will it now be worthwhile?
On some ships, I think it may. Particularly if you're. Well, I mean, we're going to move on with base fleets, aren't we, stuff? But if the new hull that's coming out in the next raid format, has got some form of inbuilt concussive already, and you're going to build a new one, you may want to chuck a couple of plates of this on, which will up it and help you with obviously, revenges, especially if you're getting kited as well. But then again, it depends on what weapons coming to go with that hull.
Yeah, it's a much better defensive stat than the other ones, though. I think it's very much going to depend on the build time on it, right? I think that's going to make a big. That's going to be a big consideration for me anyway. Personally, is going to be the build time on it, right? And also how much is it going to alter my what am I going to have to drop to put it on, right? Because I'm going to have to look at the weight requirements of it and everything else, right? So it's it's better though. It's definitely better than the original ones were. That 18% is quite nice. It's much more tangible to me.
I think it's going to make a difference. I mean, depending, we're going to talk about subs in a moment, but it depends on what they do with the subs. Let's say before the next raid cycle, they buff the base concussive defense of subs, and I don't know, like they did with the Rhinos, and maybe the base number is 40, 50, 60%. Now you add an armor that adds 18%. That makes a big difference, right? Plus deflection.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that myself. I mean, with what we think subs are going to change a lot over the coming months. We're going to see them added possibly to the Foundry, and maybe even see some new subs coming out in September. So maybe they're giving us this armor at the right time. Maybe maybe it may not be. Its use might not be clear right now, but it may be something that becomes absolutely vital in a couple of months.
So 2 points I've got. One that's probably because I'm drinking a beer, but if you turned it sort of 90 degrees anti-clockwise, it looks like a head or a face of some alien. But more importantly, looking at the sensors.
Oh my God, mate! The Cybermen from Doctor Who.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, exactly that. That's what I thought. But there you go, bingo. It wasn't just me then. But listen, so it's going to be added to the Tier 5. It's going to be added in front of the fallback prize. So where does tokens fit then into T5 now? Are they the fallback prize, or are they going to be? Because this is before.
Tokens are usually after the fallback prize, and there's one, right? So like they put some turrets there, limited turrets, and then that was the fallback, and after that there was tokens.
Because that leads onto a slide in a minute. So just hold that thought for a moment. It's before the fallback prize. So then we'll look at a slide in a second, and then we'll discuss that I think as well. But it's just interesting to note that.
It doesn't really matter where it is, because if you can get to Tier 5, then
yeah. No, I get it, but it depends on what you get it. That's if it's the first thing that comes up, because obviously at the moment we've got Judgmental Mortar and we've got what have we got in there? One of the explosives, isn't it? I can't think what it is at the moment. What's the other prize? Judgmental and something else, isn't it? At the moment, 2 routine prizes. Is it?
Well, it's a special that goes with a mortar.
Level 4 explosive, isn't it? Yeah. So will this be the one just after that, maybe? We'll have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems Tier 5 is going to be very light unless they all start bringing up some stuff that hasn't been in the VFM for a long time.
Just means less tokens for me this week, That's what annoys me.
Yeah. There is that. Okay, should we move on to the next one?
Definitely.
And this links in quite nicely.
Yes, so guys, for anyone, I'm sure most of you have probably seen this because it was kind of posted everywhere, but Doom Rooster did mention in the forums that, for what it's worth, it looks like we'll be pulling the shards from Tier 5 and the Forsaken missions at the start of the next cycle.
Yay!
This should be in July, more to follow. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't get any more shards anyway. I've already collected all those shards.
I collected all those shards for this series, yeah, I must admit. However, I could have done with one more set because I'm 50 shards short of having the Ghost Crawler, and I'd like that for the next raid, and that's now not going to be possible by the sounds of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't have said no to another set of shards, actually.
There are certain things. I'm nearly there on the Man of War. I wouldn't know what to do with it if I built it mine, but you know, I just like collecting trophies. You know,
just like the rest of your ships, TSM.
Boom! I know all those switchblades I use as well.
I got some ideas for the Man of War actually.
Have you? Give me a hint, mate, because I'm clueless.
I do, mate. I've got a few ideas for it. It's an interesting looking hull, actually.
I've been hitting Man of Wars on purpose just to see what works, and that's. I was using my Apollos, and they are fun to fight against, I have to say. So I wouldn't mind having a go at having one myself, and then just trying to annoy people, because I like the way those oil patches are great fun. They go nuts. It's great.
I had a few thoughts about it. It'd probably work well with this new gantry thing, but then. Am I going to build it? Because it's going to be down to the rep time again. Like.
Yeah, that's the issue, isn't it?
It is.
I think that the Man of War could be a lot of fun. I mean, especially utilizing its oil slick is I think key to enjoying that hull. You know.
You know, and with the mega hull thing, right? They could really easily get around the high rep time of things like Hellstars and Nemesis by just giving the same way they did with the dock slot, right? They could give you a specific slot that you could use like a Hellstar in that would lower your repair, you know, and you could only use that slot for mega hull battles.
A mega hull slot. Yeah, I get that, but it can only be relevant then against obviously the big gantry fights.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, that's the slot you would use for that, right? And you wouldn't be able to use it for anything else. I shouldn't imagine it would be that much difficulty for them to instate something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's very similar.
I will just say, Laredo said in the chat there that he said more shards when the shards come out, more prizes go in. So I don't know if he's suggesting or hinting towards the fact that perhaps
probably the logic, right? I mean, if the shards are in there to slow you down from getting tokens. I mean,
yeah, they're not going to give you tokens every week, are they?
No, right? So they're going to add more prizes in there, so you only get 2 or 3 goals at tokens if you're all caught up.
That's always been the way that it is.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is, right, give me 50 shards before the August raid, and I'm going to coin the Ghost Crawler straight off.
No, I don't think I know a single person who won the Ghost Crawler that didn't coin it.
Mate, it'll be ka-ching done.
Hey, TSM, can you go back one slide?
Yeah, of course.
I had a chance of getting a Ghost Crawler once.
Just one. So Killers from my alliance, he's on chat, and he was telling me, I didn't know, that the build time for this armor is under 21 hours.
Is that in line with D5E?
That's, I think, in line with the new reduced time for the D5E.
Okay.
That's very nice.
It's very nice.
It is, right? I mean, otherwise it would be like over 2 days, I think.
Yeah, that was my concern.
Sorry, go on.
So the armor is already in game, so you can go in the shipyard in design mode and add one plate and see, and he did it, and it's under 21 hours.
Still looks like an alien.
Right, so very good.
Can I ask a question? Have we seen D5C, D5M, and D5X come in that line?
Time-wise.
There's 2 days. I think there's 2 days.
Are they still 2 days?
Yeah, you should streamline those together.
Yeah, they're still 2 days.
Yeah, they need to fix that.
Anything in the 5 sector they should mirror it across the board. You know, it's just a bit of oversight. I'm sure there's a bit of catch up there to do, but it would make absolute sense. I don't think it's an oversight. I think they're actually reducing times on things they want you to build right now. That seems to be the trend. I mean, when something goes in the foundry or when the specials needed for a new cycle, then they revisit those specials and they reduce the time on those specials, just like they reduced radioactive armor before the previous, was it raid cycle, when they released the mines, right? So they seem to revisit build times on all the things, ships and specials and weapons, when they know people will need that for the next new thing. Do you think that's why they dropped the evade armor down, the timings? Because it's always a good one to have.
Because probably they think we'll need evade armor for something.
Well, I think that it would also be nice for them to give D5E the same stats as all the other D5 armors. I mean, it's the only D5 armor that doesn't have deflection.
Oh, the deflection
D5U doesn't have it either.
The what?
D5U.
No, it doesn't, because I've got that on my Punishers.
It would just be nice to see it. You know, if I could add that to some kind of wish list, that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, it would be actually. But it's nice. But that's a nice build time. I like that. That's really good. That is.
Yeah, but by the way, I mean that's one thing. I mean, just what I mentioned there is one thing that as we start understanding, like the Kickstarter has been pretty consistent since I think January when they started on this 18-month plan. You notice like they're putting stuff in the foundry before a new raid cycle. They're reducing times before a new type of target comes out. So start reading. I mean, just a suggestion for all the players, right? Start reading those behaviors and you start seeing patterns. Right, so you kind of know, like, just as we were saying, like everyone building subs right now. And by the way, they announced it today that subs will be going in Foundry in August, right? That was in the text today, and it's like, so you see a pattern. So now you got to make a decision. Do you start building subs now with the horrible build times some of them have, and
do you wait?
Horrible build times the Scourge Torps have, or do you wait until August and the times will be reduced by we don't know how much, and then you build? You know.
I mean, if you're building blanks, I do advise though is build the hull first with one thing on it, and then obviously then refit it afterwards, because you do get a slight reduction in build times if you're doing foundry stuff.
If you wanna build in ranked subs, like, someone gave a great idea. I mean, just put some cheap Vortex torpedo on them, get them ranked, suiciding or whatever, and wait to see if they do something about the Scourge Torps build time.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So there we go. So that's the announcement. And then so obviously the shards are coming out. Something's going in. Laredo obviously hinted at that on the chat, and we'll wait and see what that comes in the next cycle.
I hope it's not bloody fragments. Don't be bloody fragments.
Yeah, you'll get 5 fragments or something. You know.
You had to say it, didn't you?
I could use tier 5 fragments. I could use fragments. I mean, I gotta do R5 on my rhinos. I mean, if they put those fragments in T5, I'm game.
It's got to be tier 5 fragments, then, hasn't it? It can't be anything else, surely, because
tier
anybody can get to
tier 6 for the Sentinels, right? Because
yeah. It's got to be those type if it's going to go in there.
Yeah.
But didn't they say that tier 5 was going to be like elite exclusive prizes, and that's why the points was going to be very high, and that they said that even new hulls and stuff we were going to see in there.
So tier 6 for the Citadels, they were selling them in the locked store last raid, but they said that was a temporary solution until they sorted out where to put them.
Do you know, so add to your little Gucci thing you said, whoever said about a special, if that was Dave, Gadget. So add a special slot then that puts a certain mega hull ship to go only fight against obviously the the new Hyperion, but then obviously drop an occasional hull into the tier 5 as well that can only go into that slot that can go and fight Imperiums. That'd be a laugh, wouldn't it? Because it can only go in that one slot. You couldn't take it anywhere else.
A hull that you can only use for Hyperion fights.
And it only drops in the tier 5 fullback.
Yeah, that would be very interesting and very appropriate as well for the tier.
So you can just literally fight with it and just have a laugh. A bit like the old, like we did the mega gunboat fighting type thing. That sort of concept. It's just come built. It's done.
But don't make it that like you've got to collect like 5 shards to make the one hull. Just put the hull in there.
Yeah, we can wish. But yeah,
it'd
be awesome point,
if we had a Forsaken Arena tournament just with Hellstars.
Well, you know what? It would be downgrade on the gunboats, wouldn't it?
Another fun. I tell you what, another fun Forsaken tournament would be good, wouldn't it? We could do one. That last one was hysterical fun. We could do another one of those.
Man, you know what? I would be willing to pay really, really large amounts of money if anyone's watching from Kickstarter if I could just have that gunboat print from that Forsaken Arena tournament. Like
anything in the game.
I would be prepared to rent it for a month. I would be like a BP whore.
Do you know what would be a really cool Forsaken Arena tournament? Is when we get mega hulls like Hyperions and stuff. That would a Forsaken Arena tournament with mega hulls. That would be awesome.
So you know what I worry about with all this mega hull thing is how are their servers going to handle it, man? You know, I mean, they already have problems with raids to the point where they have to stop the armada drops and the sector bar and everything else because it's too much load. Now, when you get how many mega hulls are going to be able to fight together in one hit?
It's 8 fleets. I think it's up to 8 fleets in a battle.
You know, that's going to be a ridiculous amount of load. And I also worry about, you know, you're going to have some people playing on a budget laptop and other people playing on like a super Darth Vader breathing gaming computer. You know, and it's like, I remember in Call of Duty, whenever you were, you know, if you were, that was a problem with matchmaking, right? Is some people had really crappy internet connections and some people had really good ones, and so you got lag adjusted, right? Like if you had a really good connection, they'd nerf your connection to bring you in line with the guy with the slowest connection in the battle, right? No. So you know, and I worry about stuff like that. It really concerns me how they're going to handle all that extra load.
My laptop won't be able to handle that. I know. I mean, my laptop sometimes starts scrolling just for like raid stuff, right? Too many mortars falling or too many fire field effects and whatnot already affects my cheap laptop here. But I can only imagine like 2 mega hulls on each side plus 4 fleets on each side and everything firing at the same time. Oh my god! Like, you're gonna need a high-end gaming setup to handle that.
Well, we're right, monster.
And they'll need some powerful badass servers to make it happen.
That's the thing. It's a server-side business that I'm interested in. Although I have to say, you know, if the average was what 55,000 people playing there, or had a go at the raid, that sort of stuff, you know, there aren't going to be that many people with mega hulls. But I understand.
It doesn't happen like that, right?
In the battle, yeah, it's a lot of ships to move around, isn't it?
It's a lot of ships and fire and mortars and cannons and torpedoes and everything firing at the same time.
Because they're not an autopilot. It's 8 people doing their own thing, going where they want to and interacting with another 8, you know, 7 boats at least, also doing their own thing. That's a lot of broadband.
They're gonna need to do something for that to work, because even if you look at like raids when you co-op with people, sometimes it's very laggy. Remember Drake bases going in with 4 people, you know. So yeah, they're going to need to do something. But,
and there's no point in just testing that server side. It's got to be done, you know, always globally, because otherwise it's not a real test.
I mean, to me, you're always going to have a problem though, because you know, even if you upgrade your servers, because you've got people playing in Europe and you've got people playing in the States, and if your servers are all
Australia,
you know, South Africa, all over the place, right? You know, and if your servers are all in the States, then no matter what you do to upgrade your servers, you can't upgrade the connection between these places in the States, right?
But guys, no, you're thinking old style, right? I mean, you're thinking they have all their servers in a server room in California. I mean, they could easily have cloud servers spread across,
piggyback cloud servers.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, Microsoft or Google or Amazon cloud with data centers all over the world, and that problem is addressed. I mean, it's way cheaper than buying new servers every 3 years.
I don't know. Anytime I've done a trace route, it's always gone back to San Francisco.
Oh, maybe the portal goes there, but the workload could be spread. You don't know, right? You don't know what's the backend. I'm saying I don't know.
You guys are getting too technical.
You know, to me, if that was the case, then why would they bother having you do a trace route that leads all the way back to San Francisco when you submit a ticket over a problem with the game?
Do you know what I'm thinking? I'm just thinking monsters I just go in and smash stuff. That's Monster's attitude. I'll just go in and smash stuff. I know it is.
The problem is the Gadget's a nerd, right?
I think Monster should change the name to Incredible Hulk.
The Hulk, yeah. Should we go on? Should we move on?
Yeah, let's jump a slide, guys, before we get too confused.
So this slide I put in, I did this one myself. It wasn't obviously in the release notes, but it's just a quick reminder that obviously, you know, those are the base levels that kick out the relevant stronghold targets. So look at your base level. If you're in that bracket, then clearly that's the target that your base will kick out. Next to it, that is so long as there isn't like already something in the place of where that target will kick out, because you know the spawn rate was quite reasonable. But as I said there in the note, look, if you haven't got anybody near you that's plus level 95, you're not going to get a 107 target. So consider where you need to be in your sector, or in which sector you need to be if you're in a position where you can hit a level 107, but you're not of that level in your own base. Because the target doesn't technically belong to anybody, but it only spawns by the base of that level.
And only if they're on. Do they have to be online?
Yeah, because they have to start their foundry. They have to start their FM as well. I noticed that as well. There's nothing next to my base. I go and hit somebody else's, like a chain event, and all of a sudden my target will start spawning. And I don't know if that's been proven or that's the way the mechanics works, but generally when I start my FM, I go and hit something, and then after a little while my target will start popping up, and then once I kill it, it sort of respawns within about 3 or 4 minutes. It's quite quick. But the first one, I've got to go and hit something else first.
I just thought you had to be online and they would start spawning your level.
I've not noticed that. I've actually generally had to go to somebody
else's
else's
base. I think you just have to log in and it spawns. I mean, now the other thing, I think Robin posted that on the page, is like if the map around your base is already too busy, they may not spawn. So what you gotta do, you gotta go out, kill some salvages, and collect them. So take them off the map, kind of make room for your target to spawn. And it's not only FM targets, anything around your base, just clean up salvages or armadas or whatever, clean up some space and they'll spawn.
So that's the answer to map content overload, people. You heard it here first. Go out and kill some stuff.
Smash stuff.
Right? It's not that they need to stop spewing this stuff out onto the map. No, it's that you need to go out and kill it more. That's what the solution is.
Well, it was nice about the raid, wasn't it? How clear was the map during the raid? It was great. I loved it.
Oh, the map's so cluttered right now. Every time I go to the map, my game lags big time because, again, I play on a crappy laptop, right?
I have to keep watching to make sure I'm not hitting the wrong things when I go and get base parts.
You don't play on a laptop all the time, Ren, do you?
Do what?
Do you play on a laptop all the time?
I play on the laptop all the time, yeah.
I thought you had a desktop where you normally do the show from at home.
I do, but I have a teenage son, and he hogs the desktop all the time.
So you don't have a laptop. You've just got the laptop. I mean, and not a base, base PC, because he's got it basically.
Yeah, pretty much. So I play on the laptop 98% of the time.
That's why he always bombs you, because he's saying, "Dad, get off my computer."
Yeah, that's what it is. He's trying to annoy him to get him off the computer. But you know what, Ren? I'd suggest a laptop upgrade before you build a mega hull, buddy.
Yeah, I'm still 38 fragments away from starting the gantry, so that pretty much means I have about 2 months to buy a new laptop, you're telling me.
Right, anyway, so that was just that slide there, just a reminder basically. So, and yeah, from Robin, that was a really good, I saw that post as well, and I thought it was excellent that, if you got stuff around your base, you ain't going to stand a chance because only so many things can spawn around that location, so... And that was basically what happened, I think, when they started the last cycle, when the 97s were still on the water, and people were having to clear them out of the way, and all of a sudden a 107 would kick in instead, So there was a bit of an overlap between the 97s hanging around and the 107s coming in. That's because people just weren't clearing the 97s quick enough. That was just a slight oversight on the road. But there we go. So, should we move on then?
Of course.
There we go. This is going to be a good debate.
Okay. September event and skirmish preview. Last week, we gave you a sneak peek of one of the targets for the September event, a level 123 Reaver target that was designed with submarines in mind. To continue this trend of previewing upcoming features, we will be holding a closed test server preview to select users on Wednesday the 29th of June. Okay, let's do the... Yeah, let's discuss the first part first. So, did everyone here have a chance to hit the 123 Reaver targets, and what did you think of them?
I hit one with my ghost. I was like, right, piece of piss, and left it at that.
I personally, for myself, I took in a set because I've got most of the subs. I took in a set of Kudas, not a chance. I took in a set of. I took a set of Tiger Sharks. They did okay, but no matter how fast I wanted to turn and run away with stick torps, I still took damage. And then I took in a set of Banshees as well. Well, the downtime's amazing. They were a bit too slow to get out of the way to have damage. So it was a catch-22. I did like the fact that the cavitation fields were on a time cycle, and I had my watch ready next to me, and I could work out when to dive in and when not to dive in. So that was quite decent. The mortars that were thrown out from the mega ship in the middle, that random pattern, if you didn't dive in too early, and waited for the mortars to drop. If they saw like, it were coming towards you, I exited quickly and then just came back into the target. And I think probably 2 out of 3, the mortars landed nowhere near me, and I was able to just dive straight into the centre and start taking out some of those quick reaver holes. So.
And that was the other reason why I didn't bother, because I was going to, and then TSM said, I've done it. So I was like, all right then.
Yeah. Ghost crawlers auto them.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Oh, whatever.
Thanks for that.
A ghost crawler autos them, man.
Oh, thanks for the tip, Gadget.
Yeah, you're a big help, mate.
Yeah.
You can't give me shields, knob.
Yeah, are you alright to make a video of that so we can all do it?
Yeah, right. When we unlock our ghost crawlers from the foundry.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I hit one. I was going in there to rank, and I just killed one with my Vendetta fleet.
All right.
But I took a lot of damage. It wasn't worth it. I mean, I was actually just going in with the intention of suiciding in there, and ended up killing it. So I killed a few.
I did one with my Apollos actually, which wasn't too bad. I mean, and I know Andrew. I mean, bless him, he's not on tonight. He's working. I know that. He may be in the chat a bit later. Well, right at the end, he said. But he did say he went in with Apollos and had a go, and he managed to do a whole one. And he reckoned during a raid it would cost him probably about, if it's a top target, about 12 coins. And that's at this stage now, with the 3 Apollos that he's got. So he thought that was quite a reasonable return if that's going to be one of the top targets.
The problem is, I mean, they did say that these things, surface ships would not fare well, like these things. Now, I saw someone do one with a set of Revengers, and I was quite surprised how well they did.
Really?
Seeing they're meant to be a base hitting hull.
Revengers do very well against them. That was, I think that was probably how my fleet was doing it, because it was 2 Revengers, 3 Vendettas, but the rockets off the Vendettas worked too.
Really? All right. Well, hopefully we get another sneak peek, won't we? But
I guess they've got a concussive weakness already, because that's why you're meant to use subs against them. So the Gatling guns kind of make sense.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why the Revengers did well, right? Because those targets don't have concussive resistance. So probably if you had tried, I don't know if anybody tried, by the way, I didn't, I forgot, scatterguns, because they also don't have corrosive resistance. So maybe heavy cruisers with scatterguns could have done well. I don't know.
Yeah, good tanky, bulky hull as well.
It's just a cavitation field, and once you get inside it, and the thing blows up, obviously, it's got that explosive engine on it, hasn't it? So you're going to get damaged no matter what, and the scattergun range isn't the best in the world, is it?
Yeah, true. Now one thing, and that was my only pet peeve with the targets, and definitely Kickstarter needs to do something about the repair time on the subs, because I made one mistake once with 3 Banshees and 1 Phantom Nighthawk, and I mean that was like 14 hours of repairs for one.
Well, apart from the Ghost Crawler, it's one of the worst ones to fix in my set of subs, anyway.
Yeah, I mean subs have always been like that, mate. They need to sort out the rep time on subs across the board. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and I think they also need to make it, I mean, just again like they did adding corrosive resistance to Rhinos, they'll have to add some concussive resistance to the subs. Otherwise, any small mistake, they spot you, and then you're bad. It's not like it's not like you can take 1 or 2 rounds of shots and outrun them or something. You're just gone, right?
It was like 2 seconds. Yeah, Mike. Yeah. I mean, I only used coolers, I must admit. The first one, and I actually let them die because they fixed quick anyway. My God, they lasted about 2 seconds in that cavitation field. They're like, boof, gone.
Yeah, the rivers fart and they're gone, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it's maybe time we see perhaps an upgrade on a DS armor, like a D3S, D4S, or?
Oh, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
No, they just need to reduce the rep time, mate.
Should we go to the next slide?
Well, I mean, if you get seen, do you to give you a survivability chance? But sorry, we did miss the second section though. To continue this trend of preview.
What you got to think about though is more armors means more repair.
Rep.
Yeah.
And it means more refit time. I mean, it's bad enough if players have got to build these subs. Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree. So guys,
and by the way, I mean, you talk about it. Sorry, William, but you talk about other versions of the S armor. But the way the preview was, at least the 1, 2, 3 targets, just with Magnus Drive, I mean, no S armor at all or anything like that. That was enough cloak to approach and hit and run away. I mean, if that's their sonar, as long as you can outrun the cavitator fields, I mean, or go in when they're off and get out before they turn on, you don't really need more cloak efficiency.
Right. Okay. Okay. I see. I didn't have a chance to test subs against them, so.
I did try a few. I mean, they need no thermal. They don't have thermal. Their sonar is not strong, so it's all about timing the cavitator field. That's all.
Yeah, I must admit, I was too busy doing a bit of ranking, and I was quite busy the weekend because I was going to do a quick stream, but I never got a chance to do it. But I did go in with a couple of sets of subs and then just let them fix whilst I was out doing other business.
Okay, so the second section, guys, I don't know how you all feel about this. To continue this trend of previewing upcoming features, we'll be holding a closed test server preview to select users on Wednesday, 29th June 2016. How do you feel? Don't care?
I think you know, like the whole picture is that they said they're on a very, very early phase of developing the targets and playing out with minimum health requirement and some buffs as well that they're going to add in the Foundry. So they wanted a small group of players to go in knowing it's a very early stage of a work in progress and work with them, kind of like giving feedback, almost like user testing, right? And they're going to get that feedback, work on it a bit more, and then later have a regular open preview.
Yeah, once it's right.
However many can get in, I don't know, up to the limit.
I think,
and then stage 3, they're going to have that on live game again, right?
Well, I
think really broad feedback. So I think that's a progression as they work on the targets. They're going to expose to more and more players.
Yeah, and I think our large problem is sometimes Kickstarter, it's important to them to have that early testing phase, but if they open it up to the public and people see the feature in its early nature, they tend to judge it and say, oh, this is terrible and this is crap and we're not doing this. And sometimes it's a positive thing, but sometimes it can create a lot of negativity too. So I don't disagree.
I think we look at the logic of this. I mean, let's look at this in stages, okay? We've had 2 preview servers for 2 raids. I mean, various previews, but on the cycles, we've had 2 previews for 2 different raids, and they've been up to about a fortnight before. We're now several months ahead, and we're doing, let's not expect a preview like we would get a fortnight before the raid starts, just the fine tweaking stuff. This is really going back to basics, and this is looking at what the subs that are currently released right now and what they could do against a set of targets if they were as of now. Because I know that Foundry's coming, we've discussed that for certain, and Ren's got the information on those sub-specific. And then, so if we have a few people going and go, yeah, I've got a Banshee, I'm going to try a Banshee, and that sort of stuff. And, it'll either work or it won't work. And if it's not going to work, let's adjust the target. But let's look at a Tiger, let's also look at, at the Hawks and that sort of stuff, and maybe the Cuda. And then have another couple of individuals go in there with their ghost crawlers. So we've had the routine stuff that everybody's got, and let's look at those people at the end players, and let's just see how ridiculously easy it may be for them, and is there another way that we can ensure that they take a little bit of damage as well, even if they have got a ghost crawler, so that whilst they can do it quicker because they've got a better sub, it's still going to cost them maybe a few coins to achieve it, because at the end of the day, it's a business, it's got to make money, I get that, but it's got to be fun to do as well.
So I was going to say that as long as it's across the whole spectrum of players, and it's not just like the same old people going in. They need to have people with the lower end tech as well as the higher end tech. It needs to be a proper test out, not just ghost. Or...
Yeah, I'm quite glad I've kept my subs now, and I have got Kudas, and I've got I've got virtually a set of everything that I've kept a hold of, really, apart from Preds, but they'll take seconds, And
on a totally unrelated subject, I love my Vendettas, just got to say.
Yeah. Yeah, that was random. Yeah, I know, mate. Me too. But yeah. So, Ren, do you want to talk about? Well, you know more information about this than me, mate. To be honest.
Well, to compare, like the 1, 2, 3 we saw on the VXP weekend, that is more a proof of concept, right? It's not that the target's going to be like that. They were just testing the timer-based cavitation field. They were testing the mortar with cavitation field, speed, all that kind of stuff, right? What they're going to have in the preview this week it actually runs tomorrow, is a single target, like more like a one closer to what's going to be in the final raid. A single target on map, and they will tweak with stats in the subs, give them some buffs. They're going to reduce the repair modifier to 100% on all subs, and then they'll try and see how people like react or think about this requirement of must be at 100% health to launch. None of that is set in stone right now, and that's why they're going to have, I think, maybe 20, 30 players on that preview server for 2 hours, and discussing back and forth, and the developers, I think, will be on comms as well, and there will be a usual survey afterwards, right? So think of this as a closed alpha testing of the sub revamp and the raid targets and everything. I mean, it's only one target, actually. So again, I mean, based on this feedback, they're going to do a lot of developing because they're very early, like I said, and then we'll move on to probably an open preview, which is more like a beta testing later on, and then an open, again, in live game for everyone at some point in August, I guess, was the intended timeline. I don't know timelines, but that's, I think, the progression that they wanted to do, the whole previewing thing. Now, my concern there, and again, I don't have information from Kixeye, I'm just going to raise it. If you look back on previous hull classes in Foundry, right, they only added regular hulls to Foundry. They never added their limited counterparts because they can't handle the limited hulls being in Foundry because it breaks the system, right? Because right now the Foundry system is, if you get enough fragments, you unlock the blueprint, and right, and then you can start building the hull, and then you can retrofit the hull. They can't handle limited blueprints being unlocked by fragments because of however they're coded or whatever. So that's why you see, and like many examples, right, that the Nova Storm's in Foundry, but the Dante Nova Storm isn't, or the Greta DNX isn't, or Zoe's Rhinos aren't in the Foundry. So on the same note, and that's for everyone building subs right now, if they don't solve that problem, Banshees won't be in the Foundry, which pisses me off because I have them built, and they're great subs. And the Phantom subs will break as well because, I mean, they're going to give some bonuses to the Tiger Shark and the Nighthawk in the Foundry, but the Phantom Tiger and the Phantom Hawk will not be in the Foundry, and then if anything is done about speeds or dive time or, you know,
being imbalance, yeah.
It's going to break anybody with a 5 sub fleet. It's going to have them broken, submerging at different times or moving at different speeds. So they got to be very careful about that. Either find a way of buffing the limited hulls as you buff the regular versions, or not improving anything related to speed or dive time or a whole other stats that would break the fleet, right? I'm uncomfortable with that.
Well, they can't make it better than the Phantom because that's your lead hull.
But it's complicated, isn't it? Because, I mean, unless you trigger, I suppose, as you update your routine blueprint, the Phantom then will get upgraded in equivalent like-for-like upgrades. Because you can't just turn around and say, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Week 4 of this release, what we'll do is we'll give it the maximum buff that the Phantom should get. Because if someone's only done level 2 of the Foundry for the Tiger, and then they give the buff for the Phantom Tiger to the top tier, it will then be imbalanced the other way around. So it's going to be it's got to be on a par as it climbs the elevations. If you happen to have both blueprints, by doing the Tiger one, that automatically gives you the same level equivalent in the Phantom version, which is quite a bit. I imagine a bit of programming to do that.
See, couldn't they just, if hulls are coming out of the retro lab and they're only going to be like, upgradable in the Foundry, then why don't they use that slot in the retro lab to do the limited hulls, and that way, it's not interfering with the coding of the Foundry.
That's a good way of doing it.
And then they could bring the limited hulls in line with the Foundry hulls that way, and it also you could do both at the same time.
That's a really good idea, mate.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, if the limited were all in the retro lab, right?
Yeah.
That is a really good idea.
Yeah, put the limited versions in the retro.
The timing would be weird because at times you'd have one at R2, the other at R3, and vice versa. But overall, you end up with a good result.
You could get them with exactly the same stats, right?
Yeah.
But then you're taking the retrofit lab away from.
But then it's a decision.
Yeah, but then it's a decision that you make, isn't it? You know what I mean? Do you want to run 4 subs with a gunboat that you kill, or do you want to spend some time in your retro lab and run them with your Phantom?
Yeah, but
mate, you're not just a goalie Londoner. That's good. That's good. I like that.
I thought the whole point of the Foundry was to take that away from the retrofit lab. So it wasn't.
It was.
But fit your stuff and not have to worry about doing chips.
It was, but there was an unfortunate consequence with the Foundry that they can't put limited holes in the Foundry because it screws with the coding. They can't do it.
Yeah.
Right? So this is just a solution to that. I mean, you can't have it all, Stu. You know what I mean?
No, but why can't they do what Ren just said and just when you get like the Foundry level 1 done, it just automatically applies to the Phantom ship as well.
The only thing with that is additional coding, whereas the refit lab is already coded to do refits for homes.
The retrofit lab.
Sorry, the retrofit.
If you put the limited holes in the retro lab, it's a quick fix because the coding to retrofitting the holes
already exists.
And there's already limited holes in there, so I agree. I mean, it's the easiest, quickest fix I think someone could come up with.
It's just an idea,
a genius, man. Gadget's a genius.
Yeah, I like it. He's not just a Londoner. He's actually quite smart.
Well, sometimes he has his moments, right? He's like Iceland.
You didn't. Come on.
It is a good point, but
I'm glad Gadget had a good idea. He was due one.
It is a good point, but I can just see there being a lot of blowback on it because that was the whole point in the Foundry in the first place.
No, I agree. I agree with you there. But in some respects, I think the return to put those ships back into that retrofit lab would resolve the issue, would prevent them having to do too much technical wizardry in the coding because it's already there, and then nobody will feel as if they've been had by actually going out and getting 40 million points for that.
I would rather they fix it quickly.
Yeah.
You know, I would rather they do something like this that fixes it very, very quickly and allows me to keep on track, right? So, you know, for instance, if they put the Nighthawks in there, I can keep my Phantom on track with my Nighthawks. And I've never done holes in the retro lab. I've only ever done components, but you know, for this one-time thing, I'd be perfectly happy.
You could let them do it in an hour. It doesn't have to take very long. You can just go, do you know what?
Yeah,
my Foundry ones have done. So let me just quickly do the Phantom version. It's going to be
quick. They could take 24 hours, just like the components.
Overnight or whatever it could be. An overnight thing, maybe.
Yeah, it's not. It wouldn't be a big coding change just to change the amount of time it takes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And especially because you won't, even if you can do them in 24 hours, I mean, you won't get your Phantom Tiger all the way up to your 5 before you can do your regular Tigers in the Foundry. Otherwise, they're going to be out of step. So all you want to do is keep up. You do your regular Tigers 1 step, now you go in the Retro Lab and you do your Phantom Tiger 1 step. So they are in lockstep and keeps working, right?
Totally agree.
It doesn't break.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So just to check, Ren, so for the preview tomorrow for the selected individuals that are going to get in there and do the pre-alpha testing, is that they're going to be their baseline? They're going to do the 100% repair modifier, so drop it from 400 for most of them down to 100, and then make sure that the subs are 100% health before you launch. Is that their intended?
That's how it's going to start, but I've seen those previews before, and sometimes they change things on the fly. I mean, based on feedback. They might go halfway through the preview and say, okay, what if we do like this and change something, right?
Yeah. So my concern is then those that are in it tomorrow that are lucky enough to select few and that sort of stuff, please ensure you try and do a coin count to every time you cycle, go back in the dock, write down, right, that base fleet, that sub fleet cost me 24 coins, because you're going to get a ridiculous amount of coins, but just keep a running total, or if it's not coins, convert that into time.
Because if I make a mistake and it takes me, 10 hours to repair,
then because that's 10 hours of someone's raid.
That becomes 3. My point is, like, if the 10 hours after they bring it down to 100%, become 3 hours. That means that at raid halftime, it's going to be an hour and a half. Now,
For every mistake, that's an hour and a half. You can't play.
If I can kill most targets without making mistakes and without costing me anything, but then when I make a mistake, it's an hour and a half, and on average, it's half an hour, 20 minutes per target. I mean, that's reasonable if I'm going to be killing top targets with that, right?
Yeah, it's reasonable, but we need all levels in this game, and we all need all levels of spenders. So to make sure that everyone can get something out of this and that stuff, we need to ensure that basically by losing your fleet, you still have a time to go, right, actually that's 10 times dead fleets roughly over 24 hours. That's going to take me X amount of time. Is the person that's a non-coiner, we still need them in the game. They're still there. Okay. Yeah. We still need to get something. Is that person still really going to be able to achieve to get anything in this raid if he dies 5 times in a row? Because we always die at the start of raids.
What I want to try, personally, what I want to try, if we get like we've got previously, 80,000 coins, I want to use that to build subs I don't have anymore. Like I don't have my kudas anymore, right? So
yeah. I'm just fortunate I kept all mine, so yeah, I'm ready, so.
I just want to build them and buy rank in the test server, which using the fake money. And see how they fare, right? Because then I can come out, okay, you know what, a person with a CUDA will never be able to kill that. It's insane. Only the top sub can do that. That kind of feedback.
And if that goes into helping the Foundry percentages as well, then that's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. That aids to the timelines to the Foundry. If the CUDA was to get an extra dive time of say 20 seconds or something, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think the main takeaway for now for everyone is like. By deduction, we are assuming, and that's not from Kickside, that the Barracuda will be tier 1, the Spectre will be tier 2, the Nighthawk will be tier 3, and the Tiger Shark will be tier 4.
Absolute logic. I get that.
That's the assumption, and then we assume in September there will be a brand new sub as top prize. That's in the future going to be tier 5, right?
Yeah.
So just for people building subs right now, kind of stay away from the Phantom guys and stay away from the Banshee. Or even Predators and Stalkers, don't go there.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be a waste of time, unless they sort out how to put the limited holes give them buffs, pretty much.
Okay. I think that's the end of the slides, mate.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think we're just about there, guys. So lots to talk about, and quite an interesting show. I thought we were going to struggle to fill the hour there, but we certainly didn't. So. It'll be an interesting couple of weeks, and certainly an interesting couple of months to see how this whole sub stuff rolls out.
So do you guys want to talk about England and Iceland?
Not really.
Not tonight. So on that note, yeah, Ren, cheers. But no, so great show, everyone, and thank you all for coming in and watching us tonight. Thanks to all of our people that follow us on the page, and thanks for all the support the community shows us. We'll do our best to give you the best and most informative information we can regarding the changes as they come, as we always do. And we'll see you for Saturday's show. I just want to also say, guys, while we're all here, that July the 16th, I will not be here. It's a Saturday, so I don't know if any of you guys would like to host a weekend show. It's a couple of Saturdays away yet, but I just thought I'd give you some pre-warning.
No cuff too tough, mate. We'll sort something out.
Okay, then we will see you Saturday. Have a great week and take care.
All the best. Bye.